Now at 6 on Time Warner Cable News on ABC 45, Sandy Parsons awaits his fate, the latest in his federal fraud case.
He actually cried for about an hour this morning, scared to go to school.
A father outraged after he says a Durham Public Schools teacher hit his 11-year-old autistic son. I'm Heather Moore. I'll have the story just ahead.
And a North Carolina woman lost nearly everything she had after a fire broke out in her apartment. The cause is her cell phone. How the phone started the fire and what you can do to prevent a similar situation from happening to you.
You're watching Time Warner Cable News on ABC 45.
And thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Sharon Stone. Those stories are coming right up. First, here at 6. Meteorologist Doug Lindsay is here with the first check of that weather on the One's forecast. Doug, I have no complaints for you. It's been great.
Yeah, not bad at all. We did have some pesky. Sunday looking even milder. We'll take a look at Sunday, your next 7 days, and the tropics in just a few minutes.
In a few, thank you, Doug. Virginia authorities say the remains found last weekend in a rural area are those of University of Virginia student Hannah Graham. Graham was last seen September 13th after a night out with friends. The remains were found about 12 miles from the grounds. Near the same area, police found the body of 20-year-old Virginia Tech student Morgan Harrington back in 2009. 32-year-old Jesse Leroy Matthew is charged with abduction with intent to defile Graham. Matthew is also charged in a 2005 rape, abduction, and attempted murder of another woman. Sandy Parsons' fate is now in the hands of a federal jury. The case wrapped up this afternoon at the courthouse in Winston-Salem. The adoptive father of Erica Parsons is accused of defrauding the government out of benefits after the girl disappeared in 2011. Bob Costner has the latest from court. An autopsy report is released for Bianca Tanner. The Guilford County teacher's body was found last summer in a wooded area of Charlotte. She'd been missing for nearly a month. The report lists the cause of death as undetermined trauma. Tanner's boyfriend, Angelo Smith Jr., is charged in her murder. His next court appearance is set for November 20th. A Durham father is outraged after he says a gym teacher hit his 11-year-old autistic son in school yesterday. This happened at Parkwood Elementary School in Durham. Heather Moore shows us what the father says happened and the school system's response. Time Warner Cable News also reached out by email to the teacher in this case asking for a comment. The teacher did not respond to our request. UNC Systems President Tom Ross addressed the Board of Governors today. He says new policies are in place to protect the school's academic integrity. It was revealed this week that hundreds of former athletes took paper courses for nearly 2 decades. They were able to get high grades in exchange for doing little or substandard work. The report places the blame on the former department chair and his administrator within the African American Studies Department. Ross is calling on school chancellors to come up with ideas to prevent this from happening again.
I'll be asking our staff here at General Administration as well as the chancellors to identify additional regulations and policies that may be needed to foster and encourage compliance, ethics, and integrity.
4 faculty members have been fired. 5 more face disciplinary action. Some students are calling for financial changes at UNC. They protested outside of that Board of Governors meeting today in Chapel Hill. The students are calling for tuition cuts without harming the quality of education. They're also calling for an increase in financial aid.
We're really protesting the entire structure of the Board of Governors. You know, this is this board of 32 appointed, not elected officials, most of whom don't have like a serious background in education, some of whom aren't even from North Carolina.
The students also protested the ban on gender-neutral housing, the period to add or drop a class, and the ban on publicly speaking to the board during a meeting. More than 1,200 Marines from the 10th Marine Regiment out of Camp Lejeune are conducting artillery training on Fort Bragg. So far, more than 2,600 rounds have been fired on post. This is all part of what they call Exercise Rolling Thunder, an exercise to increase their readiness and continued success. They say the ability to train on a military installation the size of Fort Bragg is an asset.
Fort Bragg is a massive installation that allows us for a lot of cross-country travel especially at night. It has two massive impact areas where we can fire the artillery into, and it just gives us a lot of room to maneuver.
Training started October 12th on Fort Bragg. It will continue until the 30th. Investigators believe a charging cell phone is to blame for a fire that gutted a Charlotte apartment. It started around 6:45 last night. The Charlotte Fire Department says these kinds of accidents happen more than you may think. Becky B. Ryder has more on what you can do to stay safe.
Have you had any problems?
Officials say the fire did about $50,000 worth of damage. It's not clear if the victim had renter's insurance. Still to come here at 6 o'clock, it's a welcome home weekend for the Aggies of A&T. What events they're hosting for alumni and how officers plan to keep them safe. And later.
I'm meteorologist Doug Lindsay. We've
News on ABC 45.
One of the largest homecoming celebrations in the Tar Heel State is this weekend. Organizers are expecting North Carolina A&T's homecoming to bring more than 100,000 people to the Triad. Elena O'Connell tells us how police have prepared for this extra foot traffic. The events will wrap up Sunday evening after the gospel show. For more information about this weekend's events, you can visit our website, twcnews.com. Just do a keyword search for homecoming. Racing enthusiasts are in Randolph County this weekend for the annual NASCAR Day Festival. The one-day event in downtown Randleman pays homage to the racing history and the first family of NASCAR, the Pettys. This year, Jeff Gordon and Casey Kane's show cars will be on display. The big draw is always the king of stock car racing. Randleman resident Richard Petty will sign autographs on Main Street. Organizers say the festival's ties with NASCAR makes it a one-of-a-kind event.
We have special licensing through NASCAR, and we also have the connections with the different race organizations.
Just down the road is the Petty Museum. People can visit it during the festival. The event is from 9 to 6 on Saturday. The last weekend of the North Carolina State Fair is expected to be the busiest. Fair officials are expecting this year's attendance to top more than 900,000. Traffic on the roads is expected to be congested over the next few days. Officials are asking you to pack your patience and be mindful of the extra lane closures around the fairgrounds.
They're going to close the areas, some of the parking areas too, like coming up from Blue Ridge Road and Western Boulevard as well.
Free parking is available at the Carter Finley Football Stadium and PNC Arena properties. You can also use the Triangle area park and ride options and the bus services. Your sports is up next here at 6 o'clock. The Carolina Panthers will be missing several players on Sunday. Mike Solarte tells us who. And a new report is showing the cost of domestic violence in our state. The findings in our Carolina Minute.
your weather on the One's forecast. Back to you, Sharon.
All right, thank you, Doug. Now, here's tonight's Carolina Minute. A new study shows domestic violence comes with a financial cost to the state. Researchers at UNC found it costs the state more than $300 million every year because of factors like health care and court expenses. Advocates hope this new information will make lawmakers and companies do more to prevent the crime. Cumberland County's DA says no charges will be filed against a Fayetteville police officer who shot and killed a teenager last year. 16-year-old Shakur McNair was killed by an officer who was responding to a domestic disturbance at the family's home. Copper wire thieves strike again. Carteret Craven Electric Cooperative says thieves took wire from 27 buildings at the Jones County facility off Highway 58 in Maysville. This comes 2 days after wire was taken from 13 towers in Havelock, causing almost 2,000 people to be without power. These stories and more are available anytime on Time Warner Cable News. Amazon stocks fall. Let's get the latest on the economy now from our team on Wall Street. Tonight at 11 on Time Warner Cable News on ABC 45, it is week 10 of high school football, and the stakes are getting higher and higher. We'll have a wrap-up from games across the Triad. World News Tonight with David Muir is up next. Hope to see you back here at 11 on ABC 45. You can find us anytime on Time Warner Cable News. Have a great night.